What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Game Pulse. Today I just wanted to make a short video and talking about the stale emulation on the iOS devices, iPad, iPhone, anything that has to do with iOS. As you guys know, I've been testing a lot of PlayStation 2 emulator, GameCube. Recently I started doing some of the Dreamcast emulation, and I've been testing them and comparing them with the performance of each of the games and each of the updates that they have been coming out lately. And also, since I have my hands on a Samsung S22 Plus, I've been checking it out and comparing both of the games and doing some testing. I will have a small clip showing in this video comparing. It's not gonna be an emulation comparison, and it's gonna be a very unpopular game. It's gonna be Diablo Immortal. I'm gonna be showing you how the games run only like around 30 seconds of each, how it runs on the iPhone 13 Pro Max, and how it runs on the S22 Plus. As you guys can see in the video that I'm gonna have here next to each other, the iPhone 13 Pro Max, it could run everything on maxed out, but it cannot go to the ultra quality for the visuals. The limit is on high. It could go 60 frames. Everything setting is turned on, and at the bottom you could see the usage of the video memory, which is keeping everything on medium. And if you turn off something called image sharpening, you could actually go a little bit below, but it's still on the medium low. And on the other side you can see the S22 Plus that is going, everything is set to max. Again, they said for the high quality of graphics, since this is a mobile device, so it doesn't have that option available. The option, it is available on my iPad Pro M1. I do have that option available, but as you guys can see below here, everything is on the same settings, but the low on the S22 Plus is on high, so it's using all the resources to keep that on high. When you turn off the image sharpening, you see that it's still on high. And what I'm trying to explain with this sample here, as you guys can see, is that even in some cases the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 can outperform the iPhone. That is more that's only, I can say, in synthetic benchmarking, but in real world performance, to be honest with you, the iPhone 13 Pro Max or any version of the iPhone 13 has more performance. And what's kind of annoying is the Apple chip also has all this performance, but it has all this restriction especially when it comes to emulation. Like, I've been doing a lot of emulation videos using my iPad and my iPhone, and mine blows me on how good the performance is for these emulators, even though some of the features are missing. And this is sometimes just like a better version of those emulators that we're running on the iOS devices. The performance is mind-blowing, meaning that the potential is there, but the thing that makes it hard, since I use both of the devices, I use Android and an iPhone, is the way that Apple has its store restricted for having emulators, and the way that the Google Play Store managed that emulators are easily available and easily installable in your Android device, compared with the iPhone and the App Store. You cannot find no emulators in there. Once in a while you can find ones like squeezed to the cracks, but after they find out there's an emulator, you know that Apple will like take that down right away, and that's when it comes to make this harder. So emulation in iOS devices, because of this reason, is a little bit of a headache, and that's why I come up with different methods of how to run your emulators. I'm gonna have the videos that I come up with in the screen, so you guys can see what I'm talking about. The first method that I ever did that it was really popular is using Altstore, using something called JitStreamer to run this emulator. Because I don't know if you guys are aware of this, some of the major emulators that you want to run, Dolphin Emulator, Flycast, and some other emulation, other apps that are not just emulator apps, when you try to open it without having a JIT running, which basically is going to be debugging the application, the app will crash. So most of the time when I see the comments and I see even in my old videos and my new videos, the reason why this is happening to you guys is because the app needs to have the JIT enable. So the reason why you have this app that even though you installed it correctly and you run it and they keep crashing is because the JIT is not running properly. So when I came out with my first video, which I'm gonna have the link, everything is gonna be down in the video description, and I'm gonna have some pictures to show you guys the video I'm talking about. It was really popular because it was really helpful, and that method that I did is using 2 iOS devices and to set it up. Then I came out with another method following the instruction in the Altstore documentation on how to run everything with Altstore ALT JIT. And then my newest video, which is the easiest one after you have Altstore installed, that you could use JitStreamer, and I made a video how to set this up, and actually it's picking up now. And that video is the easiest and easiest way to set this up, especially if you only got one device. So I recommend you to, if you're interested in emulation on iOS, to follow the instruction for that video and see my previous video, which is setting up Altstore. You could skip everything until you set up Altstore, and then you could jump to the ALT JIT video, to the JitStreamer video. So the point is that the way you're doing running emulators on iOS is a little bit of a pain in the butt unless you have your device jailbroken, which is kind of sad, because if Android can have the emulators in the store, I mean, legally you could have it on the store as long as you're not providing any BIOS file or game files. You could actually have it in the store. I mean, that's why when you use your Android device and you go to the app at the Play Store, I mean, you could find all these emulators. They could stay there because they're not providing you the BIOS file or the game, which is the stuff that is copyright protected. And that's what I've been mentioning in my videos, that I cannot provide you guys with these files because it's illegal and it's copyright protected. The files that I have from those BIOS they were ripped from my original system before they broke down, and I had those files still with me. Even though some of my consoles are not working right now, I could still use those because I actually own the console. So that's why I said in the videos that I kind of provide you with this. But once again, one of the major pains about the iOS emulation is all these hoops you gotta jump through in order to get one of the emulators running. And on the hand, and the Android is a lot easier, and it's easy to set up and easy to run some of the emulators to a full performance, because Android is a little bit more open and Apple is too close of operating system for your iOS device, and that's why we gotta jump through all these hoods to have this running. One of the most requested video for me to do is emulating PlayStation 2 games on iOS. I have those videos out, and every time they come with an update, you guys already know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the PlayStation 2 emulator, which is still like in early development, if I'm honest with you. But the biggest plus about that emulator, it has a potential to be in the App Store, but I don't think it will be in the App Store. And I say this because the potential to be in it is, one, you don't need to have a BIOS file to run this emulator. This emulator doesn't need a BIOS file to run the games. It has another method of creating like an artificial BIOS file, something like that. I don't know how to clearly explain this, but you don't need to have the file in there, and you just need to place your games inside the folder and you will be able to run it. But the problem with this emulator is, since it's still in development, it will stay like a couple of years before it's as stable as a PCXS2. PCXS2 is not available on Android, but they have something called EtherSX2. I talked about it before, and I said before that performing emulating PS2 games is really amazing. You probably guys can see this because I have some games running right now in the background. Actually using this emulator. These emulators is actually is being blessed by the PSX2 emulator team, and as a legit PS2 emulator. And this one is actually free. You don't need to pay for anything to use this emulator, because in the Android the Play Store, there's another PlayStation 2 emulator, but they're charging you for money. But that one is trash. I've been putting in my video description that do not spend your money on that one. It's a money grab trap, and I've put it always in my video description not to go for that one. Just use Emulators Studio, an Android user. And yeah. Also previously I mentioned that the Emulators 2 actually they came out with a beta version for the Apple Silicon. Basically anything that is Apple Silicon, like the M1, and that will also count to your iPhone chip, because they're all Apple Silicon. It's not something else like an Intel or AMD, anything like that. It's just strictly from Apple. They have a better version of that emulator on Mac, so there's a chance that we'll be seeing that emulator on the iOS devices. And I hope they actually bring that emulator here, because the performance with Emulators 2 is amazing. Like, it's my favorite PS2 emulator on mobile, and I had really high hopes for that emulator to come to iOS, because the performance is beautiful. Because since it comes from somebody developed it with the blessings of the PCS2, as I mentioned. It has many of the fixes for the games for many years. Because as you guys know, I'm not sure if you guys are aware of that, but PCS2 has been out for a long time. So any of the fixes are available in that emulation. And going back to the beginning, when I said compare the performance between the iPhone and the Android device, the majority of the times that I've seen, like, the games actually perform better on iOS devices. So all that power that Apple put on those chips, this emulator would take full advantage of that. Because I been emulated some games on my iPhone and compare it to my S22 Plus, and the iPhone, when the emulator that I'm testing with is available on both, and I'm using a JIT to remove the restrictions, is my iPhone will every single time outperform my Android device on emulation. But the problem is, like I said before, is that ridiculous limit that they have on their system, the App Store, and the restriction that they have on the iPhones. Well, that's all that I needed to say, guys. You guys still listening to this, thank you for stopping by. Remember to like and subscribe for more. And you have any comments, you have any questions, make sure to leave everything down below in the comments in the video, because I always go through it and I read everything. So thank you so much for your time, and there are gonna be more videos coming out soon. I'm also waiting for an update for the PS2 emulator, so I'm actually waiting for that too. And also I'm probably thinking on, depending how this goes, if you guys liking the content, I wanted to do something that involves live stream, so we could like interact with each other live while I test some emulators and run some games. Maybe you guys are in the mood for it. You can also let me know, leaving a comment down below in the video description, or also check my community tab, because I usually post some polls and questions that you guys can answer. Maybe we can interact on there. And maybe in the future we'll have I don't know, maybe like a Discord open, so you guys could have a way to reach me right away, because I'm always on Discord. So that way you guys will be able to reach me right away, or leave me a question and send me some messages. And we could go something. We could work together on something here with regarding emulation or content. So once again, thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next one. Peace.